Good evening and welcome to tonight's edition of That's the Way I See It. Tonight I'd like to pose some questions to you and give you my take on what's going on with the Obamacare debate that is polarizing this nation and drawing the line in the sand between those who are opposed to the ACA mandates and those who are in favor. First, my take on this. The way I see it is we have a program in place, the ACA, that was not thought out well, not planned well, and was launched prematurely. Not only was the program itself poorly thought out, but once it was implemented, there was no adequate avenue in place and tested to make sure it worked. These facts are now being exposed daily. But my question is, why is anyone surprised? Not only did the people who pushed for this program not know what was in it or understand it, and I use as my example Nancy Pelosi, who uttered the most brainless explanation for why we should pass the law, something to the effect of, we won't know what's in it until we pass it. But a large number of Americans are struggling to understand and are faced with sorting through what's true and what's false. The false information being floated around and the runaround and changing of stories from the officials who are in charge of ACA all the way up to and including the president himself is creating even more confusion. As an example, President Obama's claimed that if you wanted to keep the insurance you have, you'll be allowed to do so. That was a bold-faced lie. But again, why is anyone surprised? In the past few days, thousands of health insurance policies have been canceled, mainly due to not meeting ACA standards. Now, I'm not saying this is a bad thing, but if the president lied about this, what else is he lying about? So if we have a program that was not thought out well, was implemented without being properly tested, why do we expect the same people to be able to make decisions on who will design and build a system that will be the avenue they expect people to use in trying to access and use this program? I'm not a bit surprised. And now, to the tune of approaching $500 million, we have a system that doesn't work. And on top of that, we're now finding out that the designers knew of the faults. They were also pressured into rushing to work and giving last-minute changes to the system. Why? Why not get it right? If you hadn't got time to do it right the first time, when are you going to find the time to fix it? Well, in my opinion, the answer is the same as how we wound up with this fiasco in the first place. The people in charge don't care. It was all about cramming a socialist program down the throats of the American people. ACA has some good merits, providing health care to Americans with pre-existing conditions and the very poor who can't afford health care. But there has to be a better way to do it. If we can hand out millions of dollars in aid to other countries, some of whom thumb their noses at us and eventually turn the very aid we gave them against us, and hand out millions to people in our own country who are abusing the system, we can surely find a way to help those who can't afford health insurance obtain it. The concept is good, just like I have a concept of how I'd like my life to be. I'd like to travel the world. I'd like to hop on my private jet and fly off to anywhere my heart desires. I'd like to sail the seven seas in my fleet of ocean-going ships. I'd like to helicopter onto a deserted tropical island off of one of my aircraft carriers. The concept is great, but I can't afford it. And this country can't afford Obamacare. And that's the way I see it. God bless America, and good night. And to you, Julie, get off of me about my hair. It ain't blonde, it's the lighting. That's all.